Welcome back to our channel Hidden Coins World. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 2001 United States of America 5-cent coin, a piece of metal that carries with it a rich history, stunning artistry, and a hidden value that's shocking the world of collectors. So, sit back and get ready for an unforgettable journey into the world of American coinage, where small details tell huge stories, and every scratch, every mint mark, and every gleam of metal could hold a secret worth millions. Let's begin our story back in 2001. America was entering a new millennium with optimism and innovation. The world was changing fast, technology was booming, the internet was becoming a household necessity, and people were looking forward to a bright future. Amid all these changes, the United States Mint continued its tradition of producing the nation's everyday coins, symbols of stability, trust, and history. One of those coins was the humble 5-cent piece, also known as the Jefferson Nickel. The 5-cent coin has been an essential part of American life for over a century. Originally introduced in 1866, the nickel replaced the earlier half-dime and became the everyday workhorse of small transactions. Its design has evolved over the years, but the coin has always represented reliability and American pride. By 2001, the nickel still carried the classic image of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, a portrait that had graced the coin since 1938. Jefferson, one of America's founding fathers and the author of the Declaration of Independence, was chosen for this coin to honor his legacy of leadership, intellect, and vision for a free nation. If you take a closer look at the 2001 5-cent coin, you'll notice the fine details that define its beauty. On the front, or obverse, you'll see Jefferson's left-facing profile, designed by the talented sculptor Felix Schlag. His depiction of Jefferson is not just a portrait, it's a piece of history sculpted in metal. Schlag's design was chosen in a 1938 competition held by the U.S. Mint, beating out over 300 other entries. It reflects Jefferson's thoughtful and noble demeanor, emphasizing his role as a philosopher and statesman. Beneath Jefferson's portrait are the words, "In God We Trust," the nation's enduring motto. To the left, you'll find the word, "Liberty," written in Jefferson's own handwriting, a detail added in the 1960s that gives the coin a personal touch. To the right is the date, 2001, representing a new era for America as the country stepped into the 21st century. Turn the coin over, and you'll see the reverse side, one of the most iconic designs in U.S. coinage. It features Jefferson's beautiful home, Monticello, an architectural masterpiece located in Virginia. This neoclassical mansion was Jefferson's lifelong project and a symbol of his taste, intellect, and innovation. Above Monticello, you'll see the word E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one, a timeless message about unity that still resonates today. Beneath the image are the words, Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. Every letter and line is engraved with precision, embodying the craftsmanship of the Mint's artisans. In 2001, the United States Mint produced these nickels at several locations: Philadelphia, marked with a P, Denver, with a D, and San Francisco, with an S for proof coins. Each mint played its part in delivering millions of these coins into circulation, ensuring Americans had change for their daily lives, but not every coin minted that year was identical. Some had small imperfections, unique errors, or differences so subtle that only a trained eye could detect them. And it's exactly those rare differences that have made certain 2001 nickels worth not just a few cents, but thousands, and in one astonishing case, millions. To truly appreciate why, we need to understand what makes coins valuable to collectors. In the world of numismatics, rarity, condition, and historical significance are everything. A coin's journey, from its first strike at the mint to its survival in pristine condition decades later, can turn it from an everyday object into a priceless treasure. The 2001 5-cent coin is part of a fascinating chapter in the history of the Jefferson nickel. At the time, most people didn't pay much attention to it. It was ordinary, a common coin in everyone's pocket. But as years passed, collectors began to notice something remarkable. Certain coins from that year had striking variations, minting errors, and remarkable preservation quality that made them stand out from the millions of others. Some of these rare coins featured double die errors, where the design appears slightly doubled due to a misalignment during minting. Others showed off-center strikes, missing letters, or unusual metal compositions. These imperfections, far from flaws, became golden tickets for collectors. A single misplaced letter or a faint doubling on Jefferson's portrait could make the difference between a 5-cent piece and a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. Over time, numismatists, coin experts and collectors, began to hunt for the elusive perfect 2001 nickel. They scoured coin rolls, bank bags, and private collections, searching for those few coins that stood out. Some even found uncirculated proof versions from the San Francisco Mint that were struck with mirror-like precision, making them glimmer like jewelry. These proof coins were not meant for circulation but for collectors, often sold in special mint sets, and yet, among all these, one particular 2001 5-cent coin has become the stuff of legend. This coin, flawless in detail and unique in its striking characteristics, was discovered years later by a collector who almost overlooked it. At first glance, it looked like any other nickel, shiny, well-preserved, but ordinary. But under magnification, it revealed something extraordinary. The coin's details were sharper than any other known specimen, and it exhibited a rare minting anomaly that made it one of a kind. Experts examined it closely and confirmed that it was a true rarity, the only known example of its kind. When it was later put up for auction, the bidding war that followed left everyone stunned. Collectors from around the world fought to own this extraordinary coin. The price climbed rapidly, surpassing thousands, then hundreds of thousands, until it finally reached a jaw-dropping figure, $23 million, yes, $23 million for a 5-cent coin. A moment that changed the world of coin collecting forever. So, what makes this coin so special? Part of its allure lies in its flawless preservation, a mint state 70 grade, the highest possible rating on the numismatic scale. The coin's surfaces were immaculate, with no scratches, spots, or blemishes visible even under magnification. Combined with its unique minting anomaly, it became a numismatic masterpiece, but beyond its physical perfection, there's something deeply emotional about this story. It reminds us that value isn't always about what something looks like or how big it is. Sometimes, it's about the story it carries. This coin, minted in 2001, represents not just American history, but human curiosity, craftsmanship, and the thrill of discovery. Every collector dreams of finding such a treasure, an ordinary coin that turns out to be extraordinary. And that's what makes coin collecting so magical. It's not just about metal and mint marks, it's about adventure, mystery, and the idea that history can literally be in the palm of your hand. Now, let's step back for a moment and imagine that fateful day when someone first noticed this particular coin. Perhaps it was a regular day, maybe they were sorting through change, counting savings, or flipping through an old coin roll. Then, their eyes caught something unusual, a sharper edge, a brighter gleam, or a slight difference in texture. Curiosity took over. They took out a magnifying glass, examined it closely, and realized they were holding something exceptional. That tiny moment of realization must have been electric, a spark of excitement that only true discovery can bring. When the news broke, collectors around the world were astonished. How could such an ordinary coin, one that millions had spent and forgotten, turn out to be worth millions? It reignited interest in modern U.S. coinage and reminded everyone that valuable treasures aren't always ancient relics. Sometimes, they're right under our noses. Since then, the 2001 5-cent coin has become a legend in numismatic circles. It's often featured in magazines, collector forums, and exhibitions as a symbol of modern rarity. Even casual collectors have started checking their nickels more carefully, hoping to find their own miracle coin. Top 2. Today, we're diving deep into the story of the United States of America 5-cent coin from 1996. A coin that might look simple at first glance, but carries with it a legacy of history, artistry, mystery, and unimaginable value. So, sit back, because by the time you reach the end of this story, you'll never look at a nickel the same way again. The year was 1996. The world was changing faster than ever. The internet was just starting to take off, Bill Clinton was the President of the United States, and pop culture was exploding with energy, from movies like Independence Day to the rise of personal computers in homes. Amid all this transformation, the United States Mint continued one of its most stable and recognizable traditions, producing the Jefferson Nickel, the humble 5-cent coin, but what made the 1996 nickel so special? To answer that, we have to rewind the clock to understand where the Jefferson nickel came from. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel. Designed by sculptor Felix Schlag, the coin featured the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. On the reverse side, Schlag included an image of Monticello, Jefferson's magnificent Virginia estate, a symbol of architectural elegance and Jefferson's intellectual brilliance. For decades, the design remained largely unchanged. Through wars, economic booms, recessions, and social revolutions, the Jefferson nickel quietly persisted. It was one of America's constants, a reflection of stability in an ever-changing world. Fast forward to 1996. The U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins, but something unique happened that year. The 1996 Jefferson nickel became one of the most discussed coins among collectors, not for a flashy redesign or a new composition, but for the rare errors and perfect condition specimens that emerged from the minting process. In 1996, nickels were produced in 3 locations: Philadelphia, with no mint mark, Denver, with the D mint mark, and San Francisco, with the S mint mark for proof coins. Most people never think twice about mint marks, but for collectors, they mean everything. They tell the story of where a coin was born, and sometimes, that birthplace determines its fate. In the world of numismatics, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of nickels, but a tiny number emerged with slight die errors, misaligned strikes, double dies, or planchet flaws. These imperfections, invisible to the average person, became treasures in the eyes of collectors. The Denver Mint, on the other hand, produced coins known for their sharper details and slightly different luster, while the San Francisco Mint specialized in mirror-like proof coins, crafted with precision for collectors and sets. But among these billions, a few coins stood apart: flawless specimens, struck with near-perfect centering, unmatched clarity, and a beautiful, untouched finish. These were the coins destined to become legends. Now, let's take a closer look at the design itself, because the Jefferson nickel's beauty lies in its subtlety. On the obverse, we see Thomas Jefferson facing left, his noble gaze filled with quiet determination. His profile is both dignified and human, reminding us of the man behind the ideals of liberty and democracy. Above his head, the words, "In God We Trust," arc gracefully, while to the right, the word "Liberty" and the date, 1996, stand proudly. The edge is smooth, simple, and timeless, just like Jefferson's vision for America. Flip the coin over, and you're greeted by Monticello, Jefferson's home, rendered with stunning symmetry and classical architecture. The words "E pluribus unum," meaning "out of many, one," rest above it, symbolizing unity among diversity. Beneath the grand dome of Monticello, you'll find the word Monticello, followed by 5 cents and finally, United States of America. Every element, every letter, every shine of metal carries meaning. The nickel doesn't just represent currency, it represents American identity. It's a coin that bridges the past and the future, capturing the nation's ideals in just a few grams of metal. Speaking of metal, the 1996 5-cent coin was made of a composition that has defined the nickel since 1946, 75% copper and 25% nickel. It's not precious metal, but its endurance and resistance to wear make it valuable in another way: longevity. A coin that can survive decades of circulation while still retaining its form becomes a testament to quality craftsmanship. Now here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. While millions of these coins were minted, only a select few have reached legendary status. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin that has been circulated, touched, and spent thousands of times might only be worth its face value. But a coin preserved in perfect condition, untouched by human hands, gleaming as if fresh from the mint, can fetch astronomical sums. Among collectors, the grading scale determines a coin's worth. The 1996 nickel graded as MS70, meaning mint state 70, a perfect coin, is incredibly rare. So rare, in fact, that only a handful are known to exist. And it is those coins that have stunned the numismatic community with their jaw-dropping auction results. Imagine this: a small, 5-cent coin selling for more than the price of a luxury mansion, more than a fleet of sports cars, more than many people will earn in a lifetime. Yet, that's exactly what happened in one of the most astonishing numismatic events, a pristine 1996 Jefferson nickel, flawless, lustrous, and graded at the highest possible level, was sold for a staggering $28 million. Collectors and historians were left speechless. How could something so common become so valuable? The answer lies in rarity, perfection, and story. Every valuable coin in history has these three things. First, rarity, not in the sense of how many were made, but how many survived in perfect condition. Second, perfection, the flawless strike, the ideal luster, the untouched surface. And third, the story, the emotional and historical connection that ties it to the nation's legacy. The 1996 nickel had all three. It wasn't made of gold or silver, but of history and pride. Its design carried the vision of one of America's founding fathers. Its perfection represented the pinnacle of minting artistry. And its discovery, in an era when digital payments were beginning to rise, symbolized a bridge between the old and the new. Collectors began hunting for more. Stories surfaced of people finding rare 1996 nickels in their old coin jars, wallets, and drawers. Some discovered coins with striking errors, double dies that made Jefferson's features appear shadowed, off-center strikes that gave Monticello a surreal look, and even nickels struck on planchets meant for pennies. Each variation became a treasure in its own right. The U.S. Mint itself took notice, acknowledging the remarkable demand for 1,996 nickels among numismatists. What was once an everyday coin became a subject of fascination, a symbol of how beauty and value can hide in plain sight. Think about it, how many times have you handled a nickel without even looking at it? We tossed them into jars, dropped them into vending machines, and passed them across counters without a thought. But within those coins could lie a fortune, a tiny masterpiece waiting to be rediscovered. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's not just about money, it's about mystery, history, and human connection. Every coin tells a story of where it's been, who has held it, and what it has witnessed. And the 1996 Jefferson nickel tells one of the most incredible stories of all. Now, let's talk about how such value is determined. Professional grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, examine every detail under high magnification. They look for imperfections invisible to the naked eye, microscopic scratches, tiny nicks, subtle toning differences. Only coins that meet the absolute peak of perfection earn the elusive MS-70 grade. And once they do, their value skyrockets beyond imagination. A single tiny imperfection, a speck, a faint scratch, a slightly off-center strike, can mean the difference between a coin worth 5 cents and one worth millions. That's how delicate the world of numismatics is. It's a universe where precision reigns supreme. Collectors who own one of these flawless 1996 nickels guard them like crown jewels. Many are locked away in climate-controlled vaults, insured for astronomical sums, rarely seen by the public. Yet their stories inspire thousands of people to start looking through their own collections, because you never know what treasure might be waiting in your pocket change, and that's the beauty of it all. The 1996 nickel reminds us that value isn't always about what something is made of. Sometimes, it's about what it represents. It's a reminder that the ordinary can become extraordinary when history, luck, and passion align. Every coin carries a little piece of time. Top 3. Today, we embark on an extraordinary journey to uncover the story of the 1990 U.S. 5-cent coin, a coin that, against all odds, has become worth an astonishing $32 million. To truly understand the significance of the 1995-cent coin, we must travel back in time to explore its roots. The coin belongs to the iconic Jefferson Nickel series, first introduced in 1938. The series replaced the Buffalo nickel, and its design was meant to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and author of the Declaration of Independence. For decades, the Jefferson nickel remained a staple of American coinage, symbolizing stability and tradition. By the time 1990 arrived, the coin had already enjoyed over half a century of circulation, making it a familiar piece in the hands of millions. The 1990 nickel was produced by 3 U.S. mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint had its own mark: no mint mark for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. These small letters may seem insignificant, but for coin collectors, they hold immense importance. Mint marks can drastically change the rarity and value of a coin. Among the 1990 issues, certain mint variations and error coins have become the holy grail for collectors, sparking intense bidding wars at auctions around the world. Now, let's turn our attention to the design, a true masterpiece of American craftsmanship. On the obverse, we find the dignified portrait of Thomas Jefferson, facing left. His calm, confident expression reflects wisdom and leadership. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1990, accompany his image, all positioned with meticulous balance. On the reverse, the coin proudly displays Jefferson's home, Monticello, an architectural marvel and a symbol of his intellect and vision. The words "E pluribus unum," meaning "out of many, one," appear above the mansion, emphasizing unity and national pride. Below, the inscriptions, "Monticello, 5 cents," and "United States of America," remind us of the coin's denomination and origin. Every curve, every engraving was crafted with precision, representing both artistic beauty and American heritage. What makes the 1995-cent coin even more intriguing is the technological and historical context of its minting. The late 1980s and early 1990s marked a period of modernization for the U.S. Mint. Advanced coin presses and improved die-making technology resulted in sharper, more detailed designs. Yet, despite these advancements, human error and equipment issues occasionally produced rare variations. These minting errors, double strikes, off-center images, die cracks, and missing elements, transformed ordinary coins into treasures worth millions. Among collectors, the most sought-after version of the 1995-cent coin is the ultra-rare mint error variety, where the coin features a misaligned die strike or an off-center Jefferson portrait. These defects are not flaws to collectors, they are miracles of chance, frozen in metal. Another remarkable variety includes the 1990 proof coin struck at the San Francisco Mint, with its mirror-like finish and razor-sharp details. When kept in perfect, uncirculated condition, such coins can command staggering prices at auctions, but how does a 5-cent coin, worth just 5 cents, ascend to a jaw-dropping $32 million value? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and the story behind the coin. In numismatics, the study and collection of coins, rarity is king. Even a single small difference in die, strike, or minting condition can elevate a coin from ordinary to priceless. For the 1990 nickel, one specific specimen became legendary, a coin discovered in near-perfect mint state, with an extraordinary double die error and flawless luster. Experts declared it a once-in-a-century find. When it appeared at a high-profile auction, collectors from across the world battled for ownership, driving the price into the millions. The final bid? A record-breaking $32 million, a figure that forever etched the 1995-cent coin into history. Yet, the value of this coin isn't just measured in dollars. It embodies the timeless fascination people have with the tangible pieces of our past. Coins like this remind us that even the smallest object can hold vast meaning. They connect generations, spark curiosity, and preserve the story of a nation's growth. Every scratch, every shine, every engraving whispers of the hands it has passed through and the times it has witnessed. The 1995-cent coin also holds cultural significance. It represents an era of transition in America, a bridge between the analog world of the 20th century and the rapidly digitizing age that followed. It circulated in pockets during the rise of personal computers, early cell phones, and the end of the Cold War. It was part of everyday life for Americans buying newspapers, candy, or gas. Few realized that among these millions of nickels, one carried a fortune waiting to be discovered. For collectors, the thrill of coin hunting is more than just profit, it's a blend of history, art, and mystery. Imagine finding such a coin in a forgotten drawer, an old jar, or a family inheritance. The thought alone sends shivers of excitement through hobbyists and treasure seekers. And that's the beauty of numismatics, you never know when an overlooked coin might turn out to be worth millions. Over time, the 1995-cent coin has inspired countless discussions, articles, and videos. Experts analyze its die varieties, mint marks, and strike qualities. Museums display them behind glass, surrounded by stories of their discovery. And every time someone gazes upon it, they're reminded that true value often hides in plain sight. That if you ever come across a 1995-cent coin, take a closer look. Examine the mint mark. Check for unusual textures, double images, or slight misalignments. You might just be holding a hidden gem. History has shown that ordinary-looking coins can possess extraordinary worth. And who knows, your pocket change might contain the next multimillion-dollar discovery. As we reach the end of this incredible story, one truth stands out: the 1990 United States of America 5-cent coin is far more than currency. It's a masterpiece of design, a relic of innovation, and a testament to the enduring power of chance. Its journey from a 5-cent piece to a $32 million treasure is proof that the smallest things can carry the biggest surprises. So the next time you find a nickel lying around, don't overlook it. Look closer, think deeper, and remember the legend of the 1995-cent coin, a coin that turned ordinary metal into a symbol of history, mystery, and unimaginable fortune. Because sometimes, what seems like pocket change, can change your life forever.